Hi, Tevin. So, just to give you an example, the three colors basically means either you use CMY or just one of three out of the colors that you see here. So we've got. So if I just go to say just the color swatch here, okay, and I'll just switch this to CMYK. Right. So we've got this is four colors. Right. So if you just use three out of these, so say you just use cyan, magenta, and yellow, or black, yellow, and magenta, um, then you've got three colors, right? Otherwise, if you want to be more specific about colors, then you need to use your Pantone library. Now, this kind of makes it a little more difficult when it's a painting that you've done, say, in watercolor. So, for example, I did this digitally, but it's got some, kind of watercolor effects and stuff like that, right? So, how would I convert this into just three colors? So at the moment, it's RGB, red, green, and blue. Now, that's three colors, but that's not print. So when you're doing print, you don't use RGB, you use CMYK. Now, the restriction is actually for the mural. That's the one. It's for the mural. The way obviously the mural is going to be most likely printed as well. And they're saying to stick to just three colors, right? So how do you limit your colors once you've painted it all? So there's a couple of different ways. One probably not as direct as the other. One, you probably have a lot less control over which colors are going to go where. Okay, so a direct way would be to go image mode, grayscale first. And you can see that I've flattened my layer. So it's going to ask you to flatten it anyway, but image mode, grayscale. I'm going to discard the black and white. Image mode, duotone, and it starts with one color. So here I've got a custom. Well, these are presets, but I wouldn't use those. And basically, what you want to do is pick, instead of monotone, you want to pick tritone. I usually start with the monotone first and work my way up. Basically, what you want to do is think about what you would want your say dark color, your mid-ground color, and your lightest color to be. And again, it's a bit hard to kind of be specific as to what will go where. I'll show you with this graph how you can kind of control that, right? So what I've done here is I've got 100% black and black only. So don't worry about these figures here. Just worry about what it says in CMYK. So I've got 0, 0, 0 on the cyan, magenta, and yellow, and I've got 100% on the black, so that I've got black, right? Then I can switch to duotone to get the next color. And so with the next color, I want maybe a mid-ground color, right? So, and again, it could be something that reflects what you've painted here. So say for my mid-ground color, I want kind of like a green, or it could be a blue. Maybe a blue, yeah, because a blue would encompass kind of the leaves as well as everything else, right? So I'm going to do a blue. Now this time though, if you take a look here, I've got cyan and magenta as well, so that adds up to three colors if I'm just going to do that. And if that's what you want, you could do that. Okay, so but then you're stuck with just three colors, right? So although this says duotone, you're still using black, cyan, and magenta. That ends up being three colors, right? So if you want specifically a blue, just the blue, you need to click on color libraries, and you'll notice here that it'll pick the closest color to what you picked in CMYK in your Pantone libraries, right? So that's the easiest way to pick that. So it's pick the color, so that's just one Pantone color. So that means now I've got two colors, black and the Pantone. So the last thing is, and now you'll probably notice that they're mixing, which is fine if that's what you want. What I could do is maybe have a bit more control over where that color goes by clicking on this graph thing here. All right, and usually what I do is I go opposites, but you'll see that there's a bit of an effect here. So if I do opposites, anything that's white, in this case, anything that's white gets 100% of that color. Anything that's black gets 0% of that color. And you might want to go, mix that around. So I don't necessarily want white to be hit with that color. I want maybe the mid-ground colors. So if I grab this little thing here, this is going to start picking just the mid-ground colors. and I want the light colors to maybe drop a little bit here, right? So, and so I can keep playing around with this to kind of get, so now I start to get like lots of blues in different areas, right? So something like that, you have to kind of muck around. There's no real formula for this. Click OK. So now I've got black and that blue, and so what would be, you know, another color, maybe a skin, maybe a red or a skin color or something like that, or a yellow. So I'm going to switch to tritone, and I'm going to pick, say, I'll try a red. So again, a red could add to this, maybe to some of the darker areas, right? So again, red is a combination of colors, right? So you need to click on color libraries, and that picks, so right now it's got warm red as a Pantone color, so that's 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I can use the graph again, and so I want only the darker colors to have that, so I can drop this down maybe so that only the dark colors, or maybe some of the mid-ground colors get that, and not the blues, say, for instance. Right, so, and yeah, it's up to you how you want to mix these up, really. So I didn't really want the lights to get that. Just wanted the darker, yeah, something like that maybe. Okay, so, but you have to play with this to kind of get the effect that you're after, and then you're left with just 3 colors, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if I click OK, then we have a 3-color artwork. So that's one way. But as you can see, it's not super accurate in terms of where you're placing colors, and you have to experiment to actually get what you want. So you may not want that blue, you may want something else, you know. And you can always readjust it. So I can go to my duotone here, and I kind of don't like the blue, so I'm going to change that to more of a beigey color. So I'll go to color picker first, and I might want it to be more of a skin color, like that, right? And color libraries again, so that it picks from my Pantone. And I might want to play around with this as well, so that S-curves are usually a good start for this, kind of creating a little bit of an S-curve, you know, and then you can kind of experiment with the type of effect that you're after. So now I've got a different set of colors, right? And then so I would save this. So I'm going to save this one as, this is my tri-color, so, or 3-color, yes. So if I go to a place like a software where you would put this kind of together, right? I'm going to create a new document, and it needs to be set up for print. So like an A4 or A3, any of those will be print settings. No facing pages. Okay, so that by being print automatically is set to, you can see I've got print preset here. It's automatically setting it to CMYK or color print, not RGB. Create. And so now if I place, so if I was to place the 3-color, not the multi, but just the 3-color for now, which was the one that I turned into, oops, sorry. The one that they use the mode, so duotone, okay. So that brings in these 3 colors, as you can see here under my separations preview. Brings in black, Pantone, Pantone 236, and warm red. Okay, so that's your 3-color job there. And